Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today is a special day because Arena Cube Draft has arrived on the client. So this is Arena's latest gold sync to try and get you nice and poor ready for the Strixhaven release. But you know, when something's worth playing, it's worth getting poor while playing it, I guess. So Arena Cube Draft is Phantom Draft, as many of you probably know, but for those who don't, it's a singleton draft experience, essentially. And the idea is that you don't get to keep any of the cards, but you do have some rewards along the way. To go actually even in this particular thing, you got to go 5 and 3, essentially, for your 4,000 gold back, and then you get 2 rares and an uncommon. I don't really put much weight into the value of those rares and uncommons, to be honest, so I really only look at the gold when it comes to how much money you expect to get back from this. So don't go into this event expecting to make gold unless you're a very experienced cube drafter, I guess, and in which case, you know, there's a tasty 2,000 gold in it for you if you can get the 7 wins. But other than that, it's mostly just a format for fun, and that's how I like to play it as well. I will stress before we get into the draft, I specifically like to cube draft for fun. I am not cube drafting to win. However, getting to 5 wins is basically all I aspire for in this format. So I'm going to be picking some weird stuff. I'm going to be forcing archetypes that are probably not that good. Don't shout at me. Anyway, let's get going, shall we? 4,000 gold in and see what we're doing. We are playing up against other people, so it is timed picks on this one, so I won't be able to walk through every single card probably in the pack. I will probably also miss a few as well, so if you want to comment down below why didn't you pick this specific card, there's about a 20% chance that I literally just did not see it, and then the other percent chance, if you really expect me to have seen it, then you could ask me. Alright, let's get this popped out so you guys can see it a little bit better. This one's an interesting one. Is Karn Siren of Urza probably the best pick here because it's colorless? Scion of Lands, you know, it gets you a lot of value. Could maybe have an artifact synergy in this format, perhaps. There's Golos as well if you want to do 5 color. I did a little bit of checking up on the card pool. Very happy to see that Ugin the Spirit Dragon is not in the cube. Usually they like to just shove it in absolutely everywhere, but yeah, there's 5, I think 5 multicolored cards for each color pair, so that's something to say. I'm gonna go with Karn Sign of Urza. Just colorless, keeps me open. Oh wow. So we could take a Seeker here. I'm really wishing I'd taken Golos now, because the Seeker here gives us the Prismatic Bridge. That has some pretty fun implications. There's a lot of multicolored stuff here. There's even a Sarkhan's Unsealing. Oh my goodness. Are we going 5 colors? Golos is never coming back round, right? Bit of a shame that we missed on Golos, but potentially do a Seeker, so let's do it. We got a Fae of Wishes. We can get the sideboard going. Ketria Triome, if we are a Seeker, could be useful, but I don't imagine that's going to get snatched up very quickly. Declaration in Stone's pretty reasonable removal spell, as is Heartless Act as well. I don't know. I mean, this is from the new anthology, I think, so I'm a little bit more inclined to take that over Heartless Act, just so we get to play with some new cards. So that is how I roll. Let's just do it. Sigrid, Insult Injury. There's a Raven's Warning. Again, we get to go into the sideboard. I do love big, dumb green creatures in formats like this, so maybe we could pick that. So Behold the Multiverse, reasonable card draw. This is just garbage, unless we're kind of mono-white, but it's looking like we're not. This is a bird, draws us a card, goes into the sideboard. Could be useful, it's multicolored. Maybe it has some uses. We'll go with that. A Languish. Okay. Also got a Midnight Clock, a Yorion. Do love me some Yorion. When he's not being played in Standard anyway. Standard is a little boring. Because he's everywhere. I don't know. Maybe it's a turn Timber Symbiosis. It is a land, so it's virtually free to play anyway. That's how I see it, at least. It allows us to pick more stuff. But it is a languish. We're just going into a wild amount of colours right now. We've only seen the Team of Triome as well, so maybe be a little bit careful about that. I'm just going to take the Turn Timber and be a little bit of a wild card. Rashmi. Seems okay. A little bit of extra value on pretty much everything we cast. Search for Canter. Was this our first pack? I actually don't know. I think it might have been. Who do you want here? Mecha Godzilla's interesting. It's not exactly the Prismatic Bridge hit that you're hoping for, but I don't know. We're currently kind of bant. We could stay bant. I don't know if Search for Canter does too much for us, although it definitely just is a good card. So I'm going to stay away from, like, the red. Yeah, I'll take Search for Canter. We'll see what happens. I'm the wild card here on this here YouTube platform. I pick what I want, and it goes well occasionally. We see what happens. Are we getting stuck? I don't know. It's a nice little bit of variation. We've got a couple of people up here who can probably do with picking faster. So I've got content to make. Therefore, it's fine when I take too long. Streamer problems. So yeah, so far I don't hate this. I don't hate where this is going. I'm not sure what it's going to end up looking like, and I'm pretty sure we've missed that Golo, so the full 5 colour could be gone. We could always just splash for, like, Prismatic Bridge though, right? Maybe the World Tree's in the mana base. If it is, we could stick that in here and then that'd be okay. But yeah, just as a Bant deck goes, it's not too bad. It is my favourite triple colour combination as well. So I'm inclined to keep it. We could also just be Simic as well. We're not exactly tied to the Raven's Warning specifically. There's a Lithoform engine, a Body Double, any creature in a graveyard, you say? Again, I'm going to try and stay away from, like, black and red in particular, because we might not use them anyway, unless they're kind of, like, really high auto includes, which they're not. Just take a Body Double. I don't even know if I'm going to play it. Oh, this was our original pack, yeah, because I remember Talrand and Thassa's Oracle quite a fair bit. I'm tempted to actually take Talrand. He's one of my faves. I've got some artwork of him up on my wall, actually. It's a pretty dope card. Around the time that I actually started getting into Magic is when Talrand was printed. Fun fact. Okay. Not too much here for us, but I guess I'll take a Thirst for Knowledge. Scholar's not that bad, though. Like, if we dump something with Search for Canter, we could potentially just cast it off of that or reanimate the Scholar, but I don't know. We'll take a Thirst. That seems more appropriate. Fae of Wishes. Maybe a bit of a mouth to feed here. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's hit the Midnight Clock. Could also see the Snakeskin Veil as being an option, but probably not. Yeah, I mean, we could be Simic, Splash White. That wouldn't be too bad. I'm trying to think if we've seen the lands already. Hinterland Harbour might have been seen. I mean, I'll put it in the deck. It's basically just a land, right? Ooh, think twice. That's a dual land in our colours. A little bit of fixing never goes terribly wrong. Could we do better, though? Who knows? Sky Sovereign's pretty good. We haven't got any ramp yet, though. So I'm less inclined to do that. Removal-wise, we're also basically struggling. So I think I'm going to take the Voracious Hydra and then kind of hope that Zagoth Triumph comes back, maybe. Sky Sovereign, think twice, I think would also be just fine. Need a little bit of removal here. We don't really... Well, we have Declaration in Stone, which we might be forced to use. And that's really about it. We want, like, fight spells, I guess, and Maybe a couple of counter spells here and there. I don't know. We've seen Baral's expertise already go as well. The mass bounce is tasty, but missed opportunity to get that into play. So we could have done that into like a Rashmi or a Talrand or even a Raven's Warning. Would have been pretty nice. So yeah, I might use body double. I think you can, yeah, you can get it with Raven's Warning technically. Ooh, Chromatic Orrery, Sublime Epiphanies, that counter spell I was thinking about. Mythos of Nethroi, there's a Ram Through. Oh man, there's all sorts. There's even a Toski. This pack is so set up for me. Could take the Scattered Groves as our White Splash. I think I'll take a card from each pack though before I start taking lands and we just see what we're left with, because Terramorphic Expanse and Scattered Groves are both perfectly fine for our deck. Let's go with... You're a 1/4. Kind of want to keep it pretty cheap, so maybe Ram Through over Sublime Epiphany is what I'm looking for. I don't know on that one. I just don't know. Ooh. I think it's got to be the Wolf Willowhaven, right? Get down a Rashmi on turn 3. Talrand's not really being enabled all that well, I don't think. Well, this pack doesn't really change that either. Yeah, I think I'll take the Wolf Willowhaven. First to Own Games, Castle Garenbrig. Voracious Great Shark's also okay. Might even be okay with an Exclusion Mage. I think I'll go with the First to Own Games. Solemn Simulacrum's not bad. Grunk's Uprising, Growth Spiral. We do need some big dumb creatures. Because we got some pretty good ramp here. We just don't have the payoff. There's also Lifecrafter's Bestiary as well. There are 5 creatures so far. Solemn's always going to get snatched up though. Maybe Bestiary comes back. Probably unlikely. That is a tough call, actually. Might go with Bestiary. The Scry one and the ability to draw off of all my creatures for the rest of the game seems pretty dirty. At least with Growth Spiral being Simic, there's less of a chance of our opponents being blue-green, and therefore it might actually come back around. Could do Undo Inversion. It's a white mana for the Declaration Stone and the Raven's Warning, but I kind of feel like we've almost abandoned the white at this point. So maybe we want something like Boon of the Wishgiver. Just cycling early on, right? Yeah, just get an early cycle, card draw later. Hello, Karuga. You're almost, like, really good. And potentially a companionable creature. Sawtusk Demolishers as well is pretty good. Gotta take Karuga, though. Come on. Come on now. Ooh, Rishkar's Expertise. And Chromatic Lantern, actually, for the Seeker. But we've got, like, Voracious Hydra in our deck now. We've got a lot of creatures that don't really care. Kind of feel like it's a Rishkar's Expertise here. Honestly, this pack's just disgustingly good. And let's see. So we were hoping for at least the Think Twice or the Zagoth Triumph, I think, in this pack. The Black Splash, other than Prismatic Bridge, isn't that good here. I think I'll just take the Think Twice. Gives us something to do on our extra turns. Ooh, Chromatic Orrery came back. Let's snatch that up. Gilded Lotus. Sure. Where's my Elder GG? I need that. Give me a Gargaroth. I think it's Great Shark. Let's start taking bigger things now that we've got a little bit of ramp here. Midnight Clock, Wolf Willowhaven, our early game pieces would like something a little bit better. Growth Spiral came back as I expected it would. Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely not going to be using Karuga as a companion now, I don't think, with Growth Spiral, Wolf Willowhaven, and just some pretty nice cards overall. I mean, sure, we might even splash black for the Oblivion if we can make it happen. We've seen a lot of on-color splash black lands go already, though. So, a bit of a mystery on that one. That's a sideboard card if I've ever seen it. Ooh, Dryad. Might want to start taking pathways and things like that now as well. Definitely don't want double black cards. What about Vorinclex? Does that do much for us? Not really. Wouldn't say it does a great deal. It doubles Midnight Clock. I mean, it is a big boy. It is a big boy. We don't have enough big boys in this deck right now, I don't think. Paradise Druid. Pact to Negation. I love Mythos of Aluna, but I don't know if we're going to be using that red side of it. Also, Seagate Restoration's pretty cool. Got to take the Paradise Druid, though, I think. I need consistent early game spells. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Huh. Oh, my God. Oh, it's all here. The party's in town. Let's get to Kogler. It's removal and enchantment and artifact removal as well later down the line. Shark Typhoon, I think, is pretty damn good. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're going with. Ronus might come back. If it does, I'll take it. I don't know if we need Vastwood Surge with the amount of early game ramp that we've got at this point. Disdainful Stroke's also fine. Disallow, I would probably accept, but I think you got to take Shark Typhoon here. A Shire. Oh, Botanical Sanctum. Let's take a Shire. I wonder if Scoot Swarm's in this cube. Probably not. Probably not. Arena's just got their mobile client going. I don't think they want reviews of my Sony Ericsson set on fire or anything like that. A Rawgrim Triumphs, 2 off color. Unfortunately, take a Thrashing Brontodon though here, I think. It's looking like I'm going to pull the white out of my deck and just go Simic, honestly. Charter Course, Plane-Wide Celebration. Finale of Devastation. I mean, it's a good finisher card. We are ramping. I do love Tezzeret though so very, very much. I think I'll take the Finale. Yep, Tezzeret, he's up there with some of my favourite Planeswalkers, because he always does something interesting, even when it's not necessarily good. Alright, well, we've got Thrash. We'd never cast the threat side, but a Thrash is a fight spell after all, and does take care of Planeswalkers. Could also go with the Cultivator's Caravan. My Immortal Sun's there. What a lovely boy. Ooh, Pathway on colour. Allows me to keep the white spells in, I guess. At least Declaration in Stone. Or maybe... Yeah, I think you want Declaration in Stone, Splash 4 rather than Threat. It's Godfarer's Gift, but... don't have the creatures or the setup for that, I don't think. Savage Stomp. Dinosaur. We have 2 dinosaurs. So it's going to almost always be 3 mana. I'm just going to go with a Mythos of Aluna, I think, here. It's a cool card. Irrigated Farmland, I think, pretty much solidifies that white as the splash. In my eyes, at least. I'm certainly not going to be doing any black or red. Not sure I care too much about the Hypnotic Sprite. Got better things to do on that mana curve portion of the game. Fragmentize, Phyrexian Arena, Dive Down. Take a Dive Down. And Mentor, but probably not playing you. See if we get one final card that is on color, maybe. So we're 40 cards. We got some cuts to make. Shouldn't be too hard. Oh, my boy. My man. He's back. Okay. So. Got a lot of cuts to make, according to Arena. It has put red mana into my pool as well, though. So I'm not too into that. Alright, so Raven's Warning. I'm not in love with it. It's basically 3 mana for a 1/1. Gain 2 life, draw a card, I think. So don't really have too much I'd want to necessarily tutor for over a long period of time. And the lands that we're using to get Declaration in Stone working can be cycled away, or they could just be placed on the blue side. So I don't really mind it so much for Declaration in Stone, so I think I'm going to cut that. Consign is just a bounce spell at this point. It's probably all it's going to be. Can technically make it work off of the Gilded Lotus and the Chromatic Orrery, of course, so that's nice. Let's actually get our MDFC's land side onto here, because that actually dictates how many lands we want to be cutting. Specifically, I always like to cut 1. So we'll just cut 3 in total, I think, at the moment. Not sure about Dive Down. It's okay. How many creatures do we end up with? 12. Oh, good lord. Okay. That's a bit spooky. So we're basically at virtual 51 now. Let's go down Boon of the Wishgiver. How likely are we to actually put a Seeker on Prismatic Bridge side? And how many bad hits have we got? Got Tezzeret. Great Shark's a whiff. Ashire's fine. Karuga's a potential whiff. Karn is fine. Rashmi's fine. Talran's kind of garbage, actually. He's out. Can pull a non-creature out of my sideboard. Again, don't really feel like I've got much of a sideboard to be pulling from, so I'll dump that. I like my 2-drop slot quite a fair bit. Maybe not so much Search for Canter, since we got Lifecrafter's Bestiary kind of covering that, and I mean, we got a fair bit of non-creature stuff in here, to be fair. So, as Canter is not without a decent ratio for the Luxie over there on the Sunken Ruin side. So I guess it's kind of fine. And low creature count as well. We probably want to be just finding all of our cards. Bearing in mind our low creature count is also not including Mouth to Feed and things like that. Mythos of Eluna is probably another creature. Heroan Games is a creature. Lots of things like that. So let me just go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then add an island. I'll change that later. But that will be... Actually, I'll even it out like that, I think. 8 more cards to cut, you say. Thrash is a 2-drop. Mouth is a 3-drop. I like to sort my cards out a little bit from time to time. I don't know if I really want Chromatic Aura, in all honesty. It looks like I'm mono-green. Most of my creatures, Karuga and Rashmi excluded, are actually just mono-coloured, so that's a 5-mana tap, draw it. Draw a single card. So it's probably going. Same might be said for Gilded Lotus, honestly. Like, our ramp is in the early game. I'm not too concerned about the late game ramp. 6 more cards to cut. Rashmi is just any card, right? Whenever you cast your first spell, reveal a top. You may cast it without paying its mana cost if it's a spell with a lesser converted mana cost. If you don't, put it into your hand. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Rishkar's Expertise has decent targets for card draw, and it has decent targets to drop off. Tezzeret, by the way, immediately ults with Vorinclex out, so expect to see that pop up at some point. That emblem is not too terrible, in all honesty. I'm really wishing I had have gotten the Thassa's Oracle. It looks like we're going to draw a ton of cards in this this draft. Let's see. Is Declaration in Stone really worth the splash? Like, I could play the farmland just as a cycle. That's not a big deal. But maybe it's not worth it past that, especially now I've just cut the Gilded Lotus and the Chromatic Ori. It would make for a pretty easy cut, in all honesty. And then we'll just cut the Hengegate pathway, maybe. Because we just don't have a use for it. We're not going to be casting Prismatic Bridge, because it has no text. And the other side is a C, white spell, apparently, according to Prismatic Bridge. So, oh, Arena. Oh, you're fantastic. Yeah, my entire... Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? This is quite the sight. Shire's a Boros 2-2. Boros 2-2. Oh, wow. Look at the value on Rishkar's expertise. Oh, you gotta love it. 2 mana for a Shark Typhoon. Don't mind if I do. Some of them, you know, are a little bit overcosted. Finale of Devastation. Hybrid mana because reasons. I don't know how Arena breaks in the way it does sometimes, but it makes me happy just to see it nonetheless. Let's go down and search for Canna. I'm just doing it. And I just need to get to the end of this now. Finale of Devastation will win me the game on the spot. So I'm keeping that. I don't like cutting cards. It's my least favourite thing to do in all of Magic. What about a Seeker? Is a Seeker worth keeping if we are just going to get rid of... I need to remember what a Seeker does on the front side. I believe it just gives legendary creatures the ability to tap for any mana of colour, any colour of mana, and gives them vigilance. So it's just a mana dork in this deck. Pretty expensive one at that. Goodbye, a Seeker. You were my first love, but you are going to be one of my near last cuts. Get out of here. Who else? What else? We got Kogler as kind of our artifact enchantment removal, so maybe Thrashing Brontodon's a fine cut. Probably not. Oh, no. Oh, no. Alright. I think the game's bugging out. Like, well and truly. A little bit spooky, chat. A little bit spooky. I might make a quick cut, and then we'll be right back, and I'll get the text working on the game again, because actually once I click done, it's gonna really freak out. So yeah, I'll be back in a second. I'll make the cuts as well off camera, because I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, we've returned. Everything is back to normal. I think I've got to where I want. I'm not exactly, if I'm being honest, happy with how the deck looks. I think it has the potential to do stupid things if left completely untouched. But what we have is kind of a low creature count deck that really needs to ramp into the early game into the few creatures that we do have. So I'm really hoping that will actually work out. Kept a lot of the ramp spells to get us there, and some removal spells along the way. There's a lot I'm happy with this deck with it, but yeah, I don't know. Didn't really have the versatility of picks, I don't think, in the end. But it should do something, at the very least. We've got a lot of ways of looking and seeing stuff. I cut, like, Think Twice as well, because I figured we'd be doing alright with what we had. 41 card special, because whenever a deck looks particularly memey, I like to just leave it as 41 and see what happens. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Anyway, if you do, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and then, yeah, let's get to the gameplay and see how many wins we can get. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty then, we're in, and opponent goes first. So on the draw with a hand that looks like this, it's very slow, doesn't have any turn 2 ramp. Other than that though, the cards are kind of cool. Can we survive long enough though? Because a Rashmi coming down probably just dies immediately. I kind of feel like this is a mull. And this is a 3-lander. I'm going to have to throw a card back, but it's got a Karn. Removal. Yeah, I'll keep this one. We'll go down Rishkar's expertise here, I think. I don't see myself casting that for a little while. And it's going to be Turn Timber, Symbiosis tapped here. Ooh, Paradise Druid's a huge pickup. Very large indeed. So that gives us a little bit of fight potential on Planeswalkers. Chainweb Arachnia, not too fussed about that at all. Let's pretend that we're still mono green, and then play our Paradise Druid here. So if we really wanted to, next turn we could go with the Voracious Hydra X2 to fight the Arachnia. I don't really feel like we need to be doing that. I think I'd much rather just play a Karn. Opponent has a counterspell in hand. So now I kind of feel like I'd much rather play Voracious Hydra. And probably double its counters. We'll go X2. Could be a Juari's Disruption. But I don't think an X1's really worth doing either way. A Bluff, perhaps. Well, we got a 4-5 with Trample now, so there's that. There's a Rashmi. Okay. What would we want? A land, actually, is probably exactly what we'd want. So I can get in with my Voracious Hydra. We could start making some tokens to block with. I quite like that idea, actually. Get Tezzeret going. And then Karn coming down, plays around Juari's Disruption, and also benefits from the Thopter tokens, because we can make a construct, aka the Space Marines. Opponent with an Ashaya gets a Midnight Clock for free. And an 8/8. So let's see what they want to do. I want to send in a little bit of damage. I'm inclined to actually let this go. Okay. So we can do a Shire. We can thrash their Ashaya. Stick up.
It is the ideal subordinate.
Yeah, I kind of like thrashing their Ashaya. It taps down my team, but that's okay. This should work out. Yep, short of them having a dive down. And then I guess I can get in for one. Now that their Arachnia is down. It's looking fairly good. How many artifacts do we need? 3 or more artifacts. So if I played Karn, made a construct, I would be able to Tezzeret 0 and draw 2. That seems pretty reasonable. Got to keep up with Rashmi after all. Ooh, animation on module for free. And then gets an Ashaya here. With their body double. Pretty good. Got removal of your own. Highly doubt they want to attack in just to take care of a Thopter and threaten Tezzeret, so we've got that going quite nicely for us. Choose a counter on a permanent or player, give that permanent another counter of that kind. Fair enough. Masked Vandal. Can take care of a Thopter. Alright, so they take us off of the draw 2 with Tezzeret here. Not terrible, not great though. So I guess we're going to draw, since we're not going to be able to enable the extra part of Tezzeret here. Play you out. Play you out. Make a little construct, and I think we'll go with a Heroine token as well. Opponent's got a 9/9. Could trade 9/9s. Whose is worth more? That's the question. I mean, they can always chump with the Mass Vandal. I just chump with the 1/1. I'm going to put my counters on the Thopter token. Takes them off the mana, my mana's sorted. Yeah. Sure. We'll do a little bit of trading. Your 1/3 for my 1/1. It's also a wooden creature that makes the Shire a bit larger as well, so... Ooh, Platinum Angel. Do we have answers to that? Got Kogler, we've got fight spells. That's not the end of the world. Richka? I'm kind of surprised they didn't put counters on Platinum Angel because, you know, I can make things rather large. Alright, 3 counters on my Thopter, please. I think we're just going straight in with the Kogler to fight the Platinum Angel at this rate. Actually, we don't really need to even fight the Platinum Angel. We can send in the Thopter, trade off there. Kogler can hit something different at that point. Because they never block with it, so I'll just get the Kogler attack trigger to kill the Platinum Angel instead. So let's make a Thopter. Let's make a Construct. Let's send in the Clowns. Send you in as well. Let's see. How much am I attacking for here? If they blocked a Shire with Rishkar, they're going to take 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15. I could make them... I'm actually wondering if Kogler pre-combat would have actually presented lethal at this point, to be honest. Send it all. See what they do. It's kind of what I expected them to do. They need Pact of Negation now, otherwise they lose. Kogler fights Platinum Angel, and they can now lose the game. Alright. That went pretty well, I've got to say. Pretty well indeed. Alright, so we are now 1-0. Next game. Alrighty then, we're in. And we don't really have any turn 2 ramp here, but we are in the draw. And we got 3 lands, so we can cast all the spells in our hand. So I'm inclined to keep this, actually. If we ever find, like, off the Thirst, we find some ramp, we can get, like, into the 5 and 6 drop slot, which is where we want to be. So, yeah, I'm going to keep this. I almost feel like you do probably want to mulligan until you hit 2 drops, but we've got a pretty good chance of doing that off of a top deck anyway. As proven by our Paradise Druid here, is going to allow us to get some nice early game creatures in play. Opponent on red-black, so probably some aggro list. I would expect them to play something here. They did not. Let's keep the blue a little bit of a secret. Play Paradise Druid. I think they're holding up mana here for removal, so by playing a hexproof creature, I've basically just invalidated their turn, which is really nice to do. And yeah, we're looking at... I don't know. Thermo Alchemist, okay. Looking at playing a Rashmi here, that's pretty good. The one problem we might find is if our opponent kills our Paradise Druid, then land drop doesn't allow me to play a Shire and then also take advantage of Rashmi here. If they were holding up in removal last turn, then that might prove to be a bit of an issue. Yeah, I'm just going to go for the Rashmi. That's fine. Hard removal on a creature that's not turbo large is fine. Let's see. Would love to be able to hold up in Disdainful Stroke. That's just not really an option, though. It could be if we went for Thirst for Knowledge here, because we do need to make our land drops consistently, so I think that's where I'll go. Main phase Thirst. I want to be pumping out large creatures at this point. And if I dump the Bestiary, I don't have to discard 2 cards here. It's not great, I don't think, but... I suppose it works. Let's go with you as a land, and then pass the turn. Got Voracious Great Shark that we can flash in at some point. What we end up countering, though, not entirely sure. It could actually be end step Great Shark into Rishkar's expertise, who knows. There's a Siege Gang Commander. So potentially some flash shenanigans to block Siege Gang might be what we're looking at here. So we're just going to go land, pass. Gonna auto pass here to give the impression that we are color screwed. Or at least try to give that impression. We'll see if it works or not. Depends on how our opponent attacks here. They might attack if they've got a good old hard removal though. Otherwise, what I'd expect is an all attack with Castle Embereth ready to go. Leaves them with 2 mana, potentially for like Heartless Axe or something maybe. A return to make a zombie. So I could Disdainful Stroke that. Or I could just play Voracious Great Shark. I think that's probably what I want to do. Again, with Great Shark out, as long as I get to keep my Paradise Druid at least, or my Great Shark for that matter, I do get to expertise into a Shire maybe, something like that. Oh god, this is Artifact or Creature. Never mind. That was a completely horrible mistake. Acquisitions Expert. You can have a look at my Disdainful Stroke, I think. Clearly I'm not using counter spells as they're intended. We have stopped our opponent, though, from attacking us, technically. I don't imagine they're going to really go for it. But I still think we're probably going to lose. We're going to draw 5 cards. Going to put in a Shire into play, most likely. Hope for a land, actually. That'd be nice, yeah. That means we can keep our Paradise Druid open. So draw 5. All the lands. Okay, well, that does mean that we're probably going to do a Shire here. I just don't see a world where we actually win this game, though. Because they've got so much fodder to block with, and they can go so wide around us. We're not exactly the deck to beat go wide little strategies here. I guess my game plan is to really just overwhelm them with a small amount of large creatures. Just that doesn't seem like the strategy that's going to work in this scenario, unfortunately. I mean, who knows? Like, Voracious Hydra is going to come down next turn, I guess, and double the counters. So if they don't have a removal for it, we might just win. Well, this probably means that they have removal for it. God, Eternal Bond 2. But it's going to be one of those make them have it, I think, scenarios here. Gets rid of 3 creatures. Pretty reasonable. It allows them to leave open shocks on Siege Gang Commander by keeping some tokens around, which is certainly worth something. And then I guess they're going to pass. Yep. Alrighty then. So we got a 10-10. I think I'm just going to do it for, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. Something like that. The Bond 2 keeps my Shire back. Sorry, not my Shire, my Great Shark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could do it for 7 and then get a 14. Kind of make them have it. Can't have that Heartless Act for this either, so that's pretty good. Let's double my counters. We'll need real removal now. Because I think trading a 1-1 for an 11-11 attack isn't worthwhile, especially because there's a block and sack here. I think I'm just going to hold a Shire back, because I think the block and sack leads to me potentially just dying to a counter-attack here. Being that I will be at 15. They're going to sack some goblins here. Sure, I mean, I don't really need Paradise Druid anymore. So I think that's better served hitting my face, in all honesty. Could draw 3 for 4 next turn. Leaves me with 4 mana plus creature taps that I'm not likely to be doing. I don't know. I need, I guess I need a ram through. Ram through is my best card, I think, at this point. Or maybe even a Finale of Devastation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're almost at the X10 finale. But at the very least, we can get a 6/6. Eldest Reborn. Alright, goodbye, Voracious Great Shark. It's not a bad card. It's any graveyard on this one, isn't it? Yeah. So, I mean, they can get back a Voracious Great Shark if the game goes long enough. I just don't see that happening. Ram through's my best draw. Probably want to be doing whatever I can to make it happen. So maybe a Mouth to Feed here. Gives me 2 mana left over after I feed. Let me make sure I tap this one here, I think. And these 2. Tap like that. I'm only going to be using green mana, I think. We've already gone through the Disdainful Stroke. Well, it's a Finale of Devastation. So let's get in with Voracious Hydra. Trampling 14/15. Imagine they block as much as they can here. And then from there, we're going to be discarding to hand size, so I probably want to consider Wolfwiller Haven. I think that even opens up the X10 finale next turn as well. That'd be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it would. It would give me a Hippo token and then whatever I pulled from my library, which at this point is going to be Vorinclex. Love to see this. So it's going to be unlikely to be a block and sack. It's probably going to be blocking for as much as humanly possible. That's quite interesting to see. Not much chance of me getting 16'd here, I don't think so. Let's just go ahead and do it. We can actually attach Wolfwiller Haven to one of my creatures. That's pretty wild. It'll drop off, though, if a Shire ever dies. So it leaves me with a 3/3 Hippo to block basically nothing but a hasty creature. Getting 16 seems unlikely, but I don't know if Banefire's in this format. Can you put this from your hand? It's not from your hand, right? It's library and graveyard. So yeah, it's basically always going to be a Vorinclex, unless we top deck it, I guess. Just Pathway's the more irritating land to play down here. I'm only keeping it in, actually, because I was going to keep the farmland in as a cycling land, just to make sure I'm churning through my deck properly. But also, if I play the Pathway and always put it on blue, what I'm essentially doing is pretending like I have white cards. And that gives me a little bit of a strategic advantage in that my opponents think that I have something that I don't. Each creature sacrifices... Oh. Interesting. So I will sack my Hippo token then. They're essentially all tapped out, but my X10 at this point forces my Voracious Hydra to tap, so anything that comes off of it's not that great. What I will do instead is get as much toughness off the board here, and I think I will do that with a Kogla. Then we'll go ahead and get rid of God Eternal Bontu. Although, actually... It's only when it enters, not when it dies. Okay. So, Bontu back into the deck, please. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's get swinging, I suppose. There's going to be a lot of blocking here. Opponent's going to be able to reanimate. They put the Bontu into their deck, so they can't reanimate that. It's going to be my Voracious Great Shark, maybe. at this rate, or maybe they're Witch of the Moors. I should probably make sure I've got something back to block with after that, so I can sack to it. Just gonna send it. 1/1 blocks the Ashaya, pretty easy, and then the rest goes in front of the Voracious Hydra. Is it even enough? I do not know. Apparently so. Math is not for me to do. I just have to present the maximum amount of damage that I feel is necessary and let my opponent find out that it isn't. And yeah, we're now 2-0. This deck's doing pretty well. Simic's always pretty good for me. When it comes to cube drafting, I find that if I do like a Simic draft, can never really go too badly wrong with big, dumb creatures. Same kind of for aggro as well. I find that I'm a pretty reasonable aggro drafter. Although I don't really play aggro much in my day-to-day when it comes to Magic. So it's a bit weird that that's the case. But yeah. Either way though, 2-0. Keep on going. We need to get to 5 in order to not lose money here. So yeah, let's keep it going. Alrighty then. We go first. We've got Growth Spiral with a land target. Yep. That's all it really needs to say, really, I think. There's a green mana. So it's a turn 2 Growth Spiral, get us up to that 3 mana. I'm going to get our extra redraw. And then our top end is Voracious Great Shark and Vorinclex with a Karuga Splash. Nice. Alright, always keep our mana open. Let our opponent be on their toes. Watery Grave for them is Grixis. Alright, well, let's go Growth Spiral. Hope we don't get censored, I guess. That would kind of suck. And, yep, dodged a bullet there. Might use the Mythos to make a land drop, if I'm honest. I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make a copy of Turn Timber Symbiosis here. Wouldn't even surprise me if it got countered there. Let's get that into play. Tap, though. And then we're on to our 5-drop, so we can hold it potentially for a Voracious Great Shark. We've got to remember that it isn't just an auto-counter this time, which is what I initially thought it was when I played it in the last game. It's only Artifact or Creature spell, which is maybe not something we should expect from our opponent's deck, in all honesty. But right now, our only real option is either Karuga, which is just a 5-mana 5/4, or it's an X3 Finale, which represents Thrashing Brontodon? Thrashing Brontodon's probably already dead if I do that, though. I think I'd sooner hold up in my counter magic here and then just hope for a land drop for future turns. I don't know. If we get Voracious Great Shark to get some value here, then dropping Karuga seems perfectly fine. Look at that. Artifact or creature. 'Tis both. Got him. Alright. So a Karuga redraw here could be okay. We could also get greedy with it and go with a Thrashing Brontodon. It leaves me with Disdainful Stroke open. And then Karuga does a little bit more later down the line. I don't hate it. I could actually even use it to kill the Chromatic Lantern, in all honesty. But I think if they're going to use the Lantern this turn, it's probably going to be in Disdainful Stroke range, so I think I'll just hold this open. Potentially save my Brontodon for some extra Karuga value. I think that's okay. Tibalts. Okay. It was slightly proven wrong, but this works for me as well. I can cut them off mana to make sure that my Karuga resolves. They've got something. So they're going to regret not using their Chromatic Lantern, because I think I am going to cut them off of it. Hopefully no Tails ends in this format. That would kind of suck, right? Just getting stifled. I doubt that's the case, but Lightning Strike my face. Fantastic. Alright. I think that was worth it. Ooh, that's going to be tasty if we can get it going. I am just going to go for Karuga here. It's a 5/4 that draws a card. It's not the best in the world, but you know, this is going to work. Yeah, just send it a Tibalt. They'll always block. Just get it off the table, you know. That's probably worthwhile. Especially while they can't combine it with something else So hopefully we've color screwed them a little bit. Somehow I doubt that'll be the case, but they technically did not play a land last turn, so I'm inclined here to... Ooh, hello. We've got the Disdainful Stroke for you. We've got the Lightning Axe here to deal 5. I'm just going to hide their land. I want to keep them mana screwed, honestly. Yep, no land for you. Alright, let us draw 5 cards. And we will put a Shire into play, I think. Boop. And let's see. Got some tasty swings. They've got a double block, which kind of sucks, but that's okay, I think. We cannot produce blue mana for Disdainful Stroke, so let's just get on in. Send it to our opponent, get the pressure going here. See if they want to take that double block. Just a single with the devil. Sure. I don't think we gain life with this deck, so like Tybalt being passively around is not really a thing I care about at all. Alright, gonna go after my Ashaya. And then they're gonna hope that they're not forced to block, but we know that they are. Guess they could also Lightning Axe here, I guess, as well, so maybe they're not. Yeah. I don't know. I suppose I was hoping for an island off of Rishkar's expertise. That would allow me to protect against the hostage taker there. Didn't end up being the case, of course. Let's see. 4, 5, 6. I could get Karuga to fight the hostage taker and give me back my Ashaya. It's probably better to do that, right? Yeah. Yeah, still in the deck. Kogla, come on out. Boop. Fight. Give me Ashaya back. And swing in with the Great Shark at our opponent's face. My son. How goes it on your travels? It's pretty good discard for a Lightning Axe, I'll say that much. Captivating Crew as a chump blocker, and we are now officially 3-0. Wowie. If y'all are watching, I just want to know, who didn't believe this deck would get to 3-0? Because I sure as hell didn't. Leave your predictions down in the comment section below. At this point, how far do you think I'll go? I actually think now that I've slightly bragged about it, I will crash and burn. That's usually what happens. But we are 3 wins in. I'm hoping for 5. If we can get any further than that, it's going to be pretty pleasing. So, yeah, let's go for game number 4. Alrighty then, we're in, and we got that turn 2 growth spiral. I think any hand with a turn 2 ramp spell is worth keeping. We can then lead off with probably the Bestiary, to try and find the 4th land. Brontodon then potentially into Bestiary trigger. We'd need 3 green for that, wouldn't we? That's probably not likely to happen, but Brontodon with a ram through though, still pretty good. Say hello to our opponent, because in Cube, our opponents cannot possibly be using degenerate decks that I don't like. So, I won't regret that decision. Oh no, it's mono red. Maybe big red. Dragon Master Outcast. Ooh, Rashmi. Hello. Got a first of our own games. Likely just go with a Lifecrafter's Bestiary here, though. Although land into Rashmi I'm not against. What's your toughness? 3. So most burn spells could probably get them there. But extra card draw could be pretty good. I'm assuming a Braid is in this cube as well, so maybe Lifecrafter's Bestiary is just kind of a 3-mana do-nothing. Does have a Scry attached to it, of course, but I don't know. Kind of torn on that one. Let's go Rashmi. The floor on it's pretty low, but the ceiling, it's pretty damn high. who knows? I mean, I can ram through like Dragon Master Outcast or something like that. Well, that's bait. Shan't be taking that bait. Black Mana and Tybalt. Very popular today.
My friend is here to help your pain.
Alrighty then, so we didn't draw a land, but we could still do that off of any one of our wonderful little cards here. So I'm going to go with a Thrashing Brontodon and try and hit a forest here, because then I can ram through something. That'd be nice, right? That is a tap land. I'm actually going to cast that. I'm going to put it on Rashmi. I think having as a 3/4 is pretty reasonable. Force the block. While it's safe. Take one to the dome. And pass the turn. Their attacks just don't look very nice anymore. They can't put down artifacts or enchantments that matter anymore either. Which is quite nice. Putting a counter on Rashmi means that Heartless Act isn't an option for them. Which is why I'm into it. I think that was a land and a Blood Artist. It was indeed. I'm going to choose to play the Blood Artist here. Annoying, but something I can deal with a ram through. So I'd love a land top deck again. So that I can hit the Blood Artist. Thank you. That means I can play a 3-drop first into the ram through. So I get the maximum amount of value off of Rashmi here. What's the card we're going to be playing, though? I think it might be Thirst, discarding Bestiary. And then ram through Blood Artist. Hit Voracious Hydra. We're going to decline that because it'll come in with 0 counters. We don't want that at all. And yeah, then we're just going to discard the Bestiary so we have a nice full grip. And then we can do some ramming through. Do we want to do it now? Probably while they're tapped out, right? Worthwhile. Let's go you on you. Actually, no, I shouldn't have done it. I should have done it upkeep, because then I get to draw a card off of Rashmi, right? Because this is first spell each turn. Yeah, I should have done it on my opponent's turn. That was a mistake. Let's see. How are we for wonderful attacks? Do they exist? Should I make them? So there's no block that they can... if they're triple blocked, they lose everything and I lose my Thrashing Brontodon, basically. The swing back, though, is a little bit risky. I suppose they're more likely to take it off of the Rashmi, so should I offer that? I don't think I do. I think I'll hold back, because I think the Voracious Hydra off of a Roaring Klex with doubled up counters is just disgustingly powerful. So I think that's where we're going. Banefire and a land. So Banefire is in this format. I have to be very afraid of that card. I'm going to go with a land. Probably means that these two are not lands, because otherwise I think the Banefire, yeah, could have killed any one of my creatures here, and probably is worth killing my Rashmi. I'm liking where we're at. I think we've got some solid value. This is bait. So, have we seen Lightning Strike already? That was last game, wasn't it? Yeah. I know that card is in here too much, so... yeah, I think it's just going to be a Vorinclex here. And then we're just sending it all at our opponent's face. See what Rashmi reveals here. 5 drops or less. Oh! Oh, that is beautiful. Let's draw 2 cards. Oh! Oh! All attack. I doubt we are getting 13'd on the way back. But I tell you what is gonna happen. We're gonna hit for a lot. A lot. Don't have a way of making red mana, unfortunately, though. One top, one bottom. Topping a card's never a great sign, but I'm not sure we got too much to be afraid of at this point. When does Channeler get souped up? 4 or more instants and sorceries in the yard. They have 1, so it's not happening. Land and... ooh, I did see a Act of Treason. So that would be 3 mana, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if they did have the Lightning Strike, actually, that I predicted they might, this is actually lethal. Do you have it? You're dead if you don't. I'm dead if you do. I think they do. Royal Eruption. Same difference. Oh, wow. I was not expecting Act of Treason, if I'm being completely honest. Had I expected that, certainly the attack was a little bit maybe too aggressive. I don't know. I really wanted to just force some blocks on the way back, and yeah, we had some really good value there. Like, next turn, had they not done that, I have 4 attackers to their 4 blockers. I also have the Voracious Hydra here, so I can fight something off. And yeah, it's just, it leaves them with basically nothing. And I think we're in a pretty good spot once that happens. Especially considering, like, Voracious Hydra off Vorinclex is just absurd. But yeah, that's a bit of a rough one, honestly. Yeah, well, next game. Alrighty then, we're in, and without green mana, this hand is unkeepable. Our opponent has Yorion in the companion zone. That's it's a thing. It's usually pretty good in draft and cube, right? To do that. It's mostly a free roll, as we've learned. All blue. Disdainful Stroke's not doing much for me here. The follow-up cards, I mean, Rashmi's a pretty good follow-up card. We're assuming they're at least blue or white. Can I take this hand, or will I just get mana screwed out of the game? That's the problem. Any land means Midnight Clock, so at least I have all the blue mana in the world. And I can at least Disdainful Stroke. Oh god, I want a YOLO so badly, and I'm gonna. Alright, Vorinclex to the bottom. This is how we crash and burn, as I predicted, by the way. I get a little bit too cheeky. And I start to get punished for my cheekiness in the latter half of the cube. But you know what? As I've stated many times, we're here for fun. So, fun we shall have. Just need 1 green land, and then this entire hand is basically unlocked. Now, we got a couple of double greens, but they're not, like, terribly useful double greens. It's a blue-black deck, and that's a Shark Typhoon. Well, that's a thing to do, and a redraw. Gonna put that on blue. There's some bluff value in putting it on white, but just showing them that I have the pathway in the first place, I think, is a good enough indicator. I think I'm gonna X0 the Shark Typhoon. I cannot really afford to not do anything next turn. So I think that's where I'm going with it. Bestiary, and that's my problem. Alright, well, we have Disdainful Stroke, at least. So our opponent going land, playing whatever they want here is not going to get much value. Grixis again. And they pass. We pass. Oh, dear. We're going to get rid of Finale of Devastation, I suppose. Double green and kind of useless. So our opponent might be inclined to just simply do nothing here, yeah. Because they don't have to. They can just hold up and they saw it coming forever. I think that's what they're doing. So I could throw out a Midnight Clock. They might actually just counter it because they know that I will be mana screwed if it doesn't resolve. I might take that if I were them. It's also a hand refill against the control deck. You don't really want that either. But perhaps they have a Braid, and therefore they don't care about using their counter magic here. They're certainly considering it. Yep, they saw it coming, as did I. Alright. Moment of truth. What is your big bad boy threat that I have to care about? Yorion? Don't care. What I do care about is missing land drops, though. And we didn't, so that's pretty good. I can't really hold up in Disdainful Stroke. And I can't afford to not do anything either, so let's go Rashmi. think Rashmi's the play. She might just die. Is what it is. I think this game's pretty much lost anyway. There's no frostbite. There's no snow-covered mountains. So I can't imagine they've got anything they can actually do here other than shock me in the face. It'll be an untap kill most likely because they don't want me to have that cast trigger. So what's the best thing that could happen for me? It's a land drop off the top again. I'm pretty sure. Because it means then I can play a 3-drop, trigger Rashmi, and hold up and Disdainful Stroke to trigger Rashmi again. Of course, that's assuming that Rashmi even lives here. Which I doubt. But it might involve them... Wow, tapping out completely is what I was going to say. Name Elf. Or anything but... Ooh, let's see if they can get this right. The name's Serpent. Alright. Okay, we did get a land. It's not the land I was hoping for, though. But we shall play it, and I think we shall play first our own games and get a 1-drop in play. A 1-1. Just gotta keep dropping threats and working through their removal, their counter magic. It's all I really can do. We just do not have the mana all the time, in fact, to play smaller threats that allow us to hold up and Disdainful Stroke. But maybe that's next turn. Next turn, now that we've got the farmland, it means Bestiary plus Stroke is okay. But Yorion is a threat. Ooh. As is big old Tybalt. I would have loved to have had the Stroke for that. But here we are. They can't hit my Heroan games. They can just tick up here, basically. I doubt they want to minus on a 1-1. So yeah, I would say this game is now officially over. It was a bad top deck for us, so I'm glad they reset for us here. Got a 4-5, but nothing we can do with it. I can play Khan and then watch it die. I mean... I can't imagine I've got anything better to do, so let's tick up. Both not very good cards, to be honest. They'll probably give us Thirst. Rather than a card draw spell and a creature. If I had to guess. And as much as I could bluff having something extra here for my token, I'm not really going to do it because the downside is that they block and I have nothing left for my chapter 3. And there's a pretty good chance that they just let the damage go through anyway, because what's 4 damage on Tybalt, really? I'm just hoping for a big tap out. Tybalt, honestly, I would rather him tick up than minus on my token, because it invalidates my entire chapter 3. And give me something to Disdainful Stroke as well. That might, honestly, a little bit of that tempo, that might get me into this game. But if I was them, if I was empty-handed, I would attack Khan minus Tybalt on the token. And then play out whatever I wanted after I knew it was all safe and sound and my opponent wasn't going to be gaining any extra card advantage. They can also just play Paradise Druid, of course, so the 4-4 won't be hitting Tybalt here. And the ult will win them the game, which is coming next turn. Well, turn after next. Alright. No choice, really. Gotta hope for this to resolve, and if it doesn't, I will scoop it up. I will scoop it up, yeah. We were on the back foot that entire game, so yeah, we're now 3-2, I think, something like that. I spoke too soon. I said this deck was doing okay, and as I predicted, the crash and burn follows shortly after, because I just, honestly, somehow managed to spite myself every single time. I don't know how I do it, but here we are. We are almost losing the 5-3 dream. Let's see if we can get 4 wins. I'll be happy with 4. Okay? This deck's bad. You want me to say it, Arena? This deck's bad. Never plug your microphone into your computer, guys. They're always listening. Next game. Alrighty, opponent goes first. We have a 3-lander with 2 drops into a Rashmi. I really like this hand. I'm unsure as to whether or not I actually want to play Turn Timber Symbiosis, though. It would be my 3rd land. So with these 3 lands plus these 2... that would get me to a decent mana count. I honestly think it's not worth the risk of needing to bolt myself for this later. I think I'll just play it. I've had that in our opening hand nearly every game as well, it's wild. Okay, what have we got? Sky, Clave, Shade. Not too fussed about that in all honesty. And yeah, we're drawing a reasonable amount of lands here. I'm gonna go with Paradise Druid, I think. I don't know. Guess maybe it was Wolfwiller Haven, because Rashmi comes down next turn and doesn't put my Paradise Druid under threat at that point. But I don't think she does anyway, because she's going to die, and my opponent's probably not going to have 2 removal spells for the turn. Bastion of Remembrance, get in for 3, sure. Big Khan. Alright, so I can play Rashmi, or I can ramp a little bit more. I'm not going to be able to do Rashmi into anything, so yeah, let's just do Rashmi. She's going to die, but we'll do it anyway. We're in a bit of a weird spot. Obviously, our opponent is mono black. They are the color of straight up removal. A full tap out is pretty okay. I'll take that. But yeah, we're in a weird spot. I think what I'll do is I'll go Wolfwiller Haven this forest. And then I will play Khan and start ticking up. Taking up to 6. Opponent can only put him down to 2, so we can always go for the minus to get whatever card they don't give us, which is going to be Kogla here. So we can go for that if we really want to. I think we'd probably be inclined to want to make that happen. But I guess the go wide from our opponent does mean that Khan would be dead anyway. But we would have a 7/6 that could kill Scrapheap Scrounger on an attack trigger, as well as Bastion of Remembrance as well. And Rishkar's Expertise becomes pretty dope. Yeah, I mean, I think I just want to absorb damage, get a big boy. Let's do that. Return! Who do we hit here? Probably hit Skyclave Shade, if I had to guess. It can come back with a land drop, of course, so can Scrapheap Scrounger exiling itself, but we've got an attack trigger for that. I just don't really see hitting a 1/1 being all that worthwhile. So let's get you hit a little bit. And yeah, let's solve that back for a block. If they want to kill Khan, they're going to have to lose most of their board here, and I'll trade a Paradise Druid quite happily. So there's a Shade. They can do it with Kicker if they want to. They're not going to, though. And a Reaver. See how they want to do this. Alright. Goodbye, Scrounger. Is it non-token? It's just any creature, right? I mean, maybe this is just okay. Like, Scrounger's not coming back. Attack with Kogla, get the Bastion. Draw 7 cards with Rishkar's Expertise. All seems rather fine. Yeah, okay. Goodbye, Calm. I don't want to drain myself too much, is really, I think, what it comes down to. We do have Mythos triggered here. So we can make a fight happen. which I guess we don't really need to do that just yet. Let's draw 7 cards. Ooh, a ram through. Do the Mythos as well. Let's maybe do the Mythos. We can maybe take Bastion of Remembrance so we can gain some life back on blocks and things like that. I don't hate that. Yeah, let's make a Bastion of Remembrance before we destroy our own. And now we have Ram Through open. Can swing, kill their Bastion, so we're not getting drained for our attacks now. Got protection from Heartless Act with Vastwood Fortification as well. Surprised they didn't block with the Reaver, because that means Scrapheap Scrounger can come back, but I guess maybe they don't value it because Kogler is around. Let's go down a forest, and at this point... I mean, Bestiary has just been discard fodder for the entire game, really, hasn't it? I think it still stands to reason that I will fodder it up. Witch of the Moors. So we don't want to let our opponent get to their end step. I'll block that. So yeah, let's... I guess block with the token here. That's fine. It will drain them. To get the Scrapheap Scrounger out, they have to lose the Skyclave Shade. I don't think that's going to happen. They didn't gain life this turn, but I'm still going to slap this a little bit. Oh, I'm such an idiot. This is Death Touch. Actually an idiot. Wow. Oh no, never mind. I'm not an idiot. Okay, the card. I didn't read it, much to my benefit. Alright. Witch can come back, sure. Goodbye, Witch. And then we pass. Our attack trigger kills that Scrounger anyway. Okay, Island. I'm trying really hard not to throw this game, but good lord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 off the Finale of Devastation. So I could do a Vorinclex for 6. I don't mind that. Karuga for some mass stuff as well, but I think the Vorinclex for 6 here is perfectly fine. Library. Vorinclex. Swing, swing. Still keeping that fortification open. GG our opponent. I think they've had enough. Fortification's worth 2 counters now. And that's the game. Wow. Okay, so when you don't throw the game away, it goes very well. So, taking Mimi hands is punishable by death. As indicated by previous games. But yeah, when the deck gets its flow on, it's okay. Alright, I did say, as a compromise, I was happy with the 4 wins. I'm still very pleased if we get to the 5 wins, but it'd be okay if we lose, because this deck is bad, right, Magic Arena? It's really bad, and it doesn't deserve that 5th win. Alright, let's find out, shall we? What does Arena think? Alrighty then. Lightning Bolt sleeves for our opponent. This hand seems pretty reasonable though. It's turn 2 Growth Spiral into either Midnight Clock or the first of the Rowan games. Probably the Midnight Clock to get the Kogler down earlier, maybe? Is what I'm thinking. It's another one of those turn 2 ramp spells. Every time we've had a turn 2 ramp spell, I think it's gone well for us in our games. It's pretty much, I think, the keys to the kingdom. Taking a Cycling Land and putting into play right now, is that worth something to me? Probably, actually. I want to make my land drops right. I'd much prefer it be green, but... Let's, oh, look at that. Let's get it done. I'm going to Growth Spiral now to play around Censor, because that would kind of suck. I will play the Island, though, because it represents Spell Pierce. I'm not sure if it's in the cube, but our opponent might also not know. And that would be good for me. Rogrim Triumph and a tap out from our opponent. Alright, so I could do a Midnight Clock here. It leaves me with 2 mana, so I'm not really doing much with it. But getting it going against what appears to be Jeskai control seems pretty reasonable. Short of having an Abrade, that's me with a 7-card hand down the line. Not that this deck has ever really struggled to produce 7-card hands almost all the time. Solemn, okay. And a white source. It's actually at least 4 colors, probably 5. As it turns out. So I can do 2 things here. I can play Threshing Brontodon. I can play... Well, 3 things, sorry. I can play Mouth, Aroan Games, Brontodon. Karuga is much better when I've got 3 drops in play, so I'm more inclined, I think, to go with the first Aroan Games, but that means I can't Brontodon. So yeah, I guess I do only really have 2 things to do. Let's get the first Aroan Games down. Let's play Mouth. And see how we get on. We don't really have to play Feed for a while. It's only creatures, whereas Karuga is 3 mana valued permanents. Have they changed mana value yet? No, it's still converted mana cost. I wonder if they're actually going to make that change when Strixhaven comes out. Because they've changed converted mana cost over to mana value, for those who don't know. So I would imagine that they'd change all the words over on all the cards, which just laughably screams to me that we're going to have a buggy couple of days. Alright, let's get some counters on this token. I'm curious whether or not, like, Wrath of God is in this format. Poison the Cup. I honestly don't really care. But they do get to scry too, because it was foretold. All that really means is I'm going to play the Karuga here and hopefully not get... Well, I can't get censored. Hopefully not get countered with an Essence Scatter or something. I think I want to make the most of the permanents I have around with Karuga. There we go, and I'll give my opponent a card. Sure, why not? It's a no-blocker scenario now, so... I will draw 2 cards if Karuga lives. Again, but I doubt it. Languish, yeah. And Usher of the Fallen is not a card I would have expected to see, but here we are. That is the green mana I need to fight. Do I want to do some fighting? I could also just do Voracious Hydra, though. We have 1 artifact for Tezzeret. We need 3. I mean, Kogla's not bad. I need a human in play in order to keep him alive in that fashion. A Voracious Hydra fighting for 4 is fine. It's not great. I think I will bolt myself here and play Kogla. Boop. I think it just forces our opponent to have a decent answer here. They can't play artifacts and enchantments that they expect to stick around until they do. Doomscar's totally fine. Alright, and their last card is a Mangara, which I do not care about. Closing in on Midnight Clock, so we're going to be shuffling all the garbage in down the line. Let's do a Voracious Hydra here, I think. Which is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if I wanted to. Let's do a 6 and fight. I think a 6 and fight's okay. I'll keep the token. Works well with Tezzeret at that stage as well, so... Fight, please. Decent threat in play. We're about to redraw our entire hand, so I guess Tezzeret at this point isn't really doing too much. Ooh, Rashmi. Rush me. Tap you. Play you. Let's play you out. So I think I'm playing the most amount of creatures, maybe. They've played Language, they've played Doomscar. I think overflowing the board with removal spell, or things that need removal spells, sorry, is going to be my best line here. If they play a creature, I thrash it, draw with Rashmi, but obviously that doesn't really matter. I'm just going to play land, Lockthwain for a redraw, and it's garbage. And we get a brand new 7. Our opponent obviously scoops it on up at that point. And we get our 5 wins. Oosh. Sorry, I'm just very excited. I've managed to redeem myself slightly. We have now achieved free cube draft status. Anything else is a bonus. And yeah, pretty happy with that. Alright, a little bit of a shaky loss streak towards the middle point there, but we got time for one more game, hopefully. Maybe even 2? Maybe 2? Let's not hold our breath on that one, because it'll be about 16 minutes long. Anyway, next game. Alrighty, we're in. This hand honestly screams Snapkeep to me, so Snapkeep. Let's do it. We got the 3rd land for the Growth Spiral. Depending on how many lands we draw, I guess I may or may not lead off on that. I'm not sure. So we don't want to be playing our lands out and not having a land to hit with Growth Spiral after all, so yeah, I guess we probably want to lead with it. We're not going to be blocking Pelt Collector anyway, so let's get that done. And we would have been safe, but here we are. Let's get you out, and then from there, I think it's going to be Lifecrafter's Bestiary. Our opponent seems like they're going to be slow enough for us to keep up with what they've got going on here. Bestiary means Paradise Druid draws me a card. What do you need? 4 greater to make a 3/3. So, Mouth technically allows me to block this and save on life. Bestiary looking like looking like he's getting thrown on the wayside again. Yeah, sure, why not? I think no matter what, I'll trade one of these, if not both, with my Hippo. Whichever one you want to throw in, you can do that. This is new standard right now, so you know, 4-powered creature on turn 3, very doable. I imagine that they maybe want to think about getting in with Pelt Collector to trade here, holding the Horn Beetle because they know that they can make it a 4/4. I'm absolutely gonna snap off your Horn Beetle. Well, let's see. So we got a Ram through. I'm definitely going to be using that on the Horn Beetle. That leaves me with 3 mana. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to boop boop. Make sure that doesn't get any bigger. I'm not sure how well I can deal with it if it did get much larger than that. Also keeps our opponent off of the Ascension here, which would be pretty annoying. So they need land and 4-powered creature in order to actually attack. Or I guess a Ram through of their own would also work. We're not in the same pod, so obviously our opponents can have the same cards as us. Kind of prefer that style of draft, honestly. I'm gonna bottom that. I'm really looking for just high-valued cards here, and Paradise Druid seems like a good one. We'll go with Wolfwiller Haven on an island here. Use that island, Wolfwiller Haven, to play Paradise Druid. And draw a card as well as redraw. I'm not sure Karn really does it for us here, so I'd like a better chance at something else. We're at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. We're basically at the top end of our deck. So holding farmland as a redraw seems pretty nice to me. Yeah, let's do that. Pass the turn. So we're at the 4, 5, 6. They could go 7, 8 maybe with this turn. Ooh, Toski. That's a spooky one. I'm gonna bottom that. Kogla's not bad. Kogla's not bad at all. Alright. So our opponent can run Toski into that all they want. It's indestructible, so we can't deal with it in that sense. In fact, we can't deal with it at all, so... there is that. I am going to pay for this. And I'm thinking I hit... I'm thinking I hit Pelt Collector. Like, if I hit Wayward Sawtooth, this becomes a 4-4 with Trample. And then any removal on Kogla's kind of sucks. This just needs enabling so badly, so... until then, it's not really doing anything. Oh, farmland, farmland, farmland. What are you doing? You'd be discard fodder for thirst, I guess. Alright, so yeah, I don't think we have too much to worry about Toski-wise. Potential 5 mana for our opponent, so Elder Gargroth might be in this format. If it is, it's a pretty good follow-up. Scoot Swarm is... oh dear, oh dear. So you're saying I lose... interesting. Yeah, Scoot Swarm's kind of a bit of an unbeatable problem for us. Karuga's not really going to get us there, I don't think. Disdainful Stroke. Let's go with Thirst. Draw 3. We're looking for, at this point, not really any of that. Let's get rid of this pathway. Let's get rid of the farmland. Play the lands. So how many lands do they need? 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got a little bit of time to close this one out. Sawtooth can't block until it has the City's Blessing. Attack or block as well, for the record. I'm going to go with Tezzeret. And I think I'm just going to start ticking up and maybe aiming for the ultimate.
Silent, obedient perfection.
And yeah, I guess we can get in with the Hippo. Like a block on a token here is... well, actually, I'm going to probably protect our Tezzeret as best we can. No artifact. Oh, actually, they've got a Wolfwillow Haven. We could hit that with a Kogla attack. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Leave the others back. They can obviously pressure Tezzeret. So we're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Back down to 7. See, I might be inclined to not block there, because then I have the chance to enable Swordtooth. I'm obviously not sure of what their hand ends up being, but... yeah, Toski and Scoot Swarm together is a force to be reckoned with. It would be card advantage that will bury us. So the next land they play is now going to be a Scoot Swarm. Toski has to get in. The Scoot Swarm block here makes me quite suspicious. And in fact, I'm not really sure why they scooped. I was gonna say, it makes me suspicious, so if I'm gonna lose anything to Scoot Swarm, it should probably be the 1/1 Thopter, rather than the 3/3 Hippo, because that would be, to me, the only reason why that makes sense. Perhaps they misclicked? I don't know. I'm going to take that win, because honestly, I don't think I was going to win it. So I accept my additional gold, and I raise you the potential to go 7 wins. So we're now at 6 and 2. So I have gained 1,000 gold from doing this draft. Fantastic. Next one is going to be 6,000 gold, so a total of 2,000 gold profit plus 2 rares and an uncommon. Not really expecting to get it. Because every time I think that I will, I won't. So I'm just going to have to think that I won't get it. There you go. Reverse psychology. Next game. Alrighty, opponent goes first. We got a 3-lander with a Paradise Druid. I'm going to keep this hand. It's the double blue you need for the Voracious Great Shark, I suppose. Getting an early Kogler or Voracious Hydra. It's going to be pretty good. I'm going to keep it. As usual, looks like we're going to be throwing the Turn Timber Symbiosis out into a tapped land situation here. Isamaru, Hound of Gondor for our opponent. Must be bugged out. There seems to be no text on this card. Weird. Alright, looks like Boros Aggro. Sack a creature, deal 2 to any target. Okay. So let's go Paradise Druid. Gonna maybe try and set up a Shark Typhoon X2 to block Isamaru. Who knows? I'm not sure that's necessarily the greatest idea, because obviously they've got weaponized the monsters there to push through. And we need the ramp a little bit. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not blocking, though. Use my life total early as a bit of a resource here. This could be Voracious Hydra fight Isamaru. Puts it pretty much in a spot of being dead, and Paradise Druid then potentially gets bolted instead. Which could be more trouble than it's worth. Whereas I could do a Shark Typhoon X2 block Isamaru, redraw for the land. That seems better. This way we're also allowed to hold up and Disdainful Stroke as well. And then maybe I consider just an X0 Shark Typhoon. Who knows? Depends on, I guess, the power level of our opponent's card here. I'm going to go for this. 1, 2. See if we can get him. Like, something's dying here. Land is exactly what we wanted, so a little bit of potential punishment on the Paradise Druid. Shouldn't be too bad, though, because we can follow up with an X2 Voracious Hydra. They're an aggro deck. An X2 seems like it should be pretty reasonable. Let's get Isamaru off the board. Protect our life total versus a deck that wants to get it gone as quickly as possible. That's a 3-2. Okay. And a Giant Killer with a tap ability here. So I could do X3 Voracious Hydra, kill the Honored Cropped Captain. I don't hate that at all. Next turn after that we go Kogler, we keep removing. This looks pretty reasonable to us as long as we keep their board state down, and I think we're capable of doing that here. So yeah, let's do an X3 Voracious Hydra. Fight creature you don't control. I think it's probably important to do that while they're tapped out as well, because obviously we get a little bit punished by trying to interact with their creatures, because they just sack in response and bolt us. It's not really going to get too far. Lava Coil Voracious Hydra, okay. We're at 15, though. Ooh, there's a Thrashing Brontodon. So I think I'm going to either combat trick the Voracious Hydra to kill the Giant Killer, or if they play something pre-combat, I might just counter whatever they play. It's creature or artifact. Gotta remember that. Creature or artifact. To be honest, with it being a 1-1, or 1-2, I don't really care to combat trick it necessarily. I think whatever they follow up with here is probably going to be higher value. It's also not sackable in response as well, so just gonna let it go. I mean, totally fine. I will just go for it. Missed our opportunity, of course, to get rid of the Giant Killer, but they're not playing anything here because they know that we've got some sort of trick, and they're not wrong at all. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with an attack for 5 while we can. Going to play the Vastwood Fortification tapped here, so it means that we can play Kogler without tapping Paradise Druid. And then drop down on a Shire. I think these are just very legitimate threats our opponent has to care about, and being large in the booty means gonna struggle a wee bit to use burn spells on them, but as we know, Declaration in Stone is in this format. Board wipes are technically here. I doubt they would be running board wipes, but certainly Declaration in Stone can find its way into their deck. Justice Strike maybe as well exists. I don't know, some tall removal. Ah, look at that. Alright. The first use of Declaration in Stone. You saw it here first, folks. So that is a redraw for us. Quite wonderful. Let's go to combat. See if they want to tap. Yep. What's the sack on this? It's 2. Love to see that. So they can't sack to this. Kill the Giant Killer. Kogla's attack trigger kills Weaponize the monsters. And this should just be absolutely game over now. Yep. Oh, baby. First cube of the season. 7-2. Cool. I mean, one of our losses was kind of a mega throw, because I got a little bit too memey, if I'm being honest. I was a little bit too trigger happy on a color screwed opening hand when I probably shouldn't have done, because honestly, the flow of our deck was just beautiful, if I do say so myself. As long as... Oh, lovely. Great. 40 gems. As long as we got a hands on a 2-drop to open up with, we actually ran away with that game every single time. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the cube stuff. It is usually quite a lot longer, so people don't stick around too long. It's usually not good analytically for the channel, but for those who do enjoy it, if you do want to see more of it, I really would help if you kind of counteract a little bit of that bad analytical nature by feeding the algorithm. Leave a comment down below. Leave a like. Let me know what you've been doing in cube as well. I'd love to see if you've been forcing any shenanigans, getting away with it, who's been doing 5-color, all that stuff. Let me know down below. And other than that, though, share it around with your friends if you wanna show them how some guy managed to miraculously win a game of cube with like 9 creatures in his deck. Don't know how that happened, but here we are. Anyway, take care, guys. Have a wonderful night, and yeah, be a late one for me as I try to get this one edited down. God, I don't even know how long it is. Either way, take care, guys.